Welcome to Aunty K's, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. So this happened. And it looks like, Trump has won. And I know there's some people holding out hope that something went wrong or somehow the few votes left to be counted are going to make a difference. But this happened. He won. And many Americans are questioning their safety at home. And as a result, there has been an increase in Americans searching and looking at the possibility of immigrating to Canada. And that's not going to be as easy as you think. Due to underfunding of housing, education, and healthcare by conservative provincial governments, the federal liberal government has agreed to clamp down on immigration and lessen it. Unless, you have certain wealthy jobs, engineers, etc. Maybe, you're such a colonizer that you work in some capacity related to extraction, you're in which case, stay home colonizer, or immigrate to Europe where you belong. This card. There's all kinds of different people in this card. Some of them are safely on the boat. Some of them are struggling to stay on. And some are just thrown to the sharks. If you're white, if you're a settler, and you want to escape, go to Europe. Just go to Europe. Stop being a settler. Like, if you want to end part of the problem, stop being a settler. But consider how much you as a white person who is maybe going to suffer because you're a woman, or is maybe going to suffer because you're gay or trans. What is your suffering compared to the millions that Trump is going to deport? Just throw to the sharks. Because your whiteness is going to give you much more privilege in trying to immigrate than the millions that Trump is going to deport. And if you decide, as somebody who is safely in America, relatively speaking, you are safe. You are. Compared to everybody that Trump wants to deport, compared to everyone Trump considers illegal. I'm feeling at a loss for words at those who would take the few spots Canada is going to allow for immigration in the next few years from those in actual danger of immediate deportation in the Trump regime. Is your country falling apart? Yes, it is, and it should. Help it fall apart. Help with land back. Help with all the millions who are going to be deported by Trump, instead of selfishly putting your settler lives first. Just please, I get that it's probably scary if you're afraid of what will happen to you if you can't have an abortion, or if you're afraid of what's going to happen to you because you're trans or gay. But if you're white under those identities, and if you have legal status in the U.S. under those identities as a U.S. citizen, then you just don't care about all these people who are going to be deported, many of whom are indigenous to the Americas. So, and we didn't have borders. We were allowed to travel up and down and back and forth before y'all arrived. Those of you who would want to take the spots from, groups that are going to be way more targeted, like Muslims, Arabs, like to say that your small marginalization is more important than those with massive, overwhelming marginalizations. It's so white. It's so full of caucasity. I am just horrified by the lack of consideration of those who are suffering 10 times more. I really am. I really am. And we don't need more colonizers. We don't. We don't. So please, if you or your friends or family are thinking about this, please let them know. Immigration to Canada was just recently limited to be limited in the coming years, so next year. And do not take those spots from those who are thrown to the sharks. Please don't do that. Don't. Either go to Europe or stay and fight for land back. And if you think you want to fight for the USA's existence, then definitely don't come here, because we don't need more colonizers. We don't need more settlers. But hell, do we ever need to save those who are being thrown to the wolves? If you have money to immigrate, give it to someone who's going to be deported to get them somewhere safe. Honestly, because your settlerism is what led to Trump and to their imminent deportation. And I'm struggling with my words. I don't feel I need other cards. It's all in the imagery of this card and who gets thrown to the wolves and who doesn't. And that very idea of throwing people to the sharks, it's water, sharks, not wolves, is how you got in this situation in the first place. So please don't continue it. And also, Canada's making a right-wing shift also. And it's very possible that next year, the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, who's a well-groomed and well-spoken, intelligent version of Trump, that should scare you. That should. It's happening everywhere, folks. It is. The solution is land back and settler colonies. It's happening everywhere. It's happening up here too. And the Liberals under Trudeau have become wildly unpopular, and the Canadian news tends to ignore that we have a third major party, even though they're quite major, have been opposition, have won provincial governments. The Canadian news kind of ignores them because they don't want to encourage a shift to the NDP, which was a left of center party, but is now kind of a center party. The Liberals, being a center party, have become right, and the Conservatives have become far right. So it's happening here too. And you need to fix the problem where you're at and save the few spots for people who need it more than you.